Welcome to our reflection for Tuesday, week 16. Moses and the people have arrived at the Red Sea, and Moses stretches out his hand and the waters part, and the people are able to walk across, and then the waters overwhelm Pharaoh and his army following, and so the people are safe. The gospel tells us about Jesus recognizing that all those who listen to him, all those who are part of his life, are part of his family. They're not just hangers-on. They are very important members of his family. When we think about the way that literature and film depicts religion today, quite often there's a very definite cynicism about it. Perhaps none more so than the Da Vinci Code, a book that tries to suggest that the Holy Grail is not the cup that was used at the Last Supper, but a direct descendant of Jesus. So it's saying that Jesus and Mary Magdalene had a child. And at the end of the book, it sort of identifies a child as being the direct descendant. One of the many ridiculous things about that is if somebody was born 2,000 years ago and had had children, and subsequently their children had children and so on, then they would be related to everybody in the world, bar a few hidden tribes who've never had any connection with anybody else. You only have to go back a few hundred years, about 700 years, I think, and vast majority of people are related. And so to try and say that one child was the direct descendant of Jesus is just utterly preposterous. Another film that sort of tries to depict religion in a sort of cynical way is Indiana Jones and the Search for the Holy Grail. Most of those films, well, the first two films are very religiously based. First, the search for the Ark of the Covenant, and secondly, for the Holy Grail, which it identifies as the cup that Jesus used at the Last Supper. And there's one part where he's come to the very end, and there's a cave where the cup, the Holy Grail, is supposedly kept, but there's a ravine between where he is and where the cave is. But he steps out. He has that recognition about stepping out in faith, and he steps out and he doesn't fall. He passes over to the other side. The daft thing really is that he then picks up a handful of sand and throws it, and the bridge becomes visible. You sort of think, well, why didn't he do that at the beginning? But I suppose for once it tried to maintain that idea of faith, that you step out into the unknown. And it's part of Jewish tradition, if not in the Bible, but part of Jewish tradition, that the waters didn't part until the first of the Israelites stepped out into the water. In other words, until one of them stepped out in faith. And as they approached the water, then the waters parted. Stepping out in faith is really important. We do that all the time. When I was ordained, I was stepping out in faith. When people join religious communities, they step out in faith, not just faith in God, but particularly faith in everybody else in the community. And it goes without saying, the same is true about marriage, same is true about having a family, starting a new job. We make all these decisions, we step out in faith, not really knowing exactly what's in store for us. And sometimes if we knew what was in store for us, then we might be more hesitant. We tend to have a confidence. When I was ordained, I thought I was going to convert the world. Haven't quite managed it just yet. We have big, big ideas, and gradually you recognize that those ideas are a bit far-fetched. It's much more about the ways in which we try to influence the lives of people around us. And the gospel is a great encouragement to us to recognize that when we step out in faith, it's not into darkness, it's not into a terrible risk, because we know that God is with us. When the people come to say to Jesus, "Oh, your mother and your brothers and sisters are waiting for you outside," he turns to the people who are there and say, "Here are my mother and my brothers and sisters." He's not saying, "I'm not interested in my own family," quite the reverse. He's saying, "I am so confident in my relationship with my family that I know they will understand if I say, these people are supremely important. These people are as important to me as my mother and my brothers and sisters." He's not saying my family is only as important as a bunch of strangers. He's saying these people who are listening to me, they are as important to me as anybody is. It's because he's so firm in his his family relationship. He's so firm in the relationship he has with his mother, with his extended family. It is a strong basis, and he's able to bring that same love into the lives of other people. That's where we would recognize true sense of love. Is not something that's exclusive, something that says, I only have eyes of love for this one person or this one group of people. It's where we say the eyes of love that I have for the person who's most special in my life is the same as the eyes of love I have for others. That's what the phrase charity begins at home really means. That we have that firm celebration of our lives, that we're able to recognize and take that love further. Most people who use the term charity begins at home means let's forget about people abroad and just look after ourselves. That's selfishness. It's being exclusive. Love is inclusive of all. We look at the deepest sense of love that we have, and we bring that love into the lives of all people. That's what God asks us to do. That's what enables us to step out in faith, to know that this community to which we are going to belong is a community that is embraced in love. Doesn't mean we'll always agree with everything that everybody does or says, but we will always be there. If we're always there to support and to help others, then we truly can say we are following in the footsteps of Jesus. We are stepping out in faith along with Moses. So thank you very much for listening. Apologies there's no Mass today, but we had Mass in Shildon, and it's not possible to do the Mass from there. So see you all again tomorrow. God bless. Bye-bye.